Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 4 of Relics of Ore. I am Erik, aka Shongaku, and you can see that down here. You can follow me at Shongaku, and this week I am joined by the dynamic duo of Kate and Christian. How are you guys doing today?
Hot and sweaty.
Yeah, that's a thing. It's summer officially now.
Where are you guys at again? Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's humid. It's not like ridiculously hot like last time, but
Ridiculously hot is 104 degrees.
yeah, which
Hey, that's what it is where I am. It's just not wet.
Yeah, it just gets like 80% humidity and you just want to cry and curl up in a ball.
That doesn't sound like fun.
No.
So, Evee's not here this week, and Indo wasn't able to make it. He had some conflicts with scheduling. I would have been amazed if he had, actually, because it never goes this easily with a guest host, ever. And
Nope.
actually, though, if he works out well, we're totally recruiting you, Indo. So if you're watching, we need someone who knows
That was the
WW.
heart.
That is
even
hard.
though none of us
The
play
heart.
it.
For those of you who don't know who Indo is and haven't been following my Twitter, Indo is one of the lead organizers on Sanctum of Raw for World vs. World. And so he knows quite a bit about that system, the meta, who's involved, and because Sanctum of Raw has been dominating of late, and he's one of the lead organizers, that means he's actually pretty competent at the whole general thing. So we're very much so looking forward to having him on the show at some point in the near future. So we're going to skip actually a lot of our WV commentary and go straight into some interesting economy things that happened with this patch. Christian, what in the world happened that is going to turn the economy slightly sideways?
So, ectoplasms were getting really cheap because meta events were being farmed, and then the Kaka Queen event drops 2 rares. And conversely, piles of glittering dust, crystalline dust, the 6 dust, which basically only drops an ore. That was becoming obscenely expensive because no one was really farming at ore anymore. So, to compensate for those 2 problems, Ectos now salvage into crystalline dust. So Ectos jumped up in price, and in fact, I can check now. Yeah, they jumped up 5 silver to 23 at the moment.
And what's happened to crystalline dust?
That is what I'm working on now. Pile of crystalline dust is ridiculously cheap. It was up to 40 silver, now it's 15.
Yes! Woo! So there you go, GV1128. We are teaching you something new in that you can now...
Is that our one listener?
It is our one listener.
Yay!
Welcome, GV1128.
We have a listener.
Do we know
Yay.
you in game? If not, welcome. We're glad to have you following us and listening in. So that's one of the big things that is economically going to shift a few things, and that could set some interesting precedents for translating various tier 6 mats from one type to another. Maybe adding some transmutation. Do you think they might go with that, or is this a very particular instance?
I mean, like switching fangs into armored scales?
Yeah.
Oh.
What from my understanding is, I think Dragon Season linked this on Twitter, which I wish I had the link on hand. Colin Johansson made a red post on the forums today saying that this is the first part of a larger overhaul of reward systems that's going to come in late summer.
Fantastic.
This was just a quick fix that they thought they could put in right away to mitigate kind of the crazy cost of crystalline dust, which was up over 40 silver, you know?
Wow. That's understandable. Man,
Yep.
I should have been farming ore more. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens. What's also interesting is they increase the price of the various sharpening stones and the like, which require crystalline dust. They increase the requirement of crystalline dust in those recipes, which are... What professions use those? Or what disciplines? Crafting disciplines?
Sharpening stone... Yeah.
Weapon Master, it's the weapon creation ones, right?
Yeah.
Weapon Master,
Yes.
Huntsman.
Artificer, and Huntsman.
Okay.
Yep.
So those are all actually, they require more there, so they're more expensive to make, except for the fact that the crystalline dust is now way more accessible.
Well, they just wanted to balance that out, so that the price didn't plummet ridiculously with this change.
Yeah.
So where dust dropped dramatically, because that's all that's required basically for those. Now dust went down, but they're making you use more of it, so the price stays the same.
Cool.
But,
And
I mean,
oh, go ahead.
apart from potions, that's the only non-food buff. Is that right?
I believe
What do you mean?
so. Well,
In addition to food,
yes.
Right.
and it's
It
an
counts
increase
as a
in
potion,
toughness
though,
by
doesn't
television.
it?
Sorry.
It counts as a potion, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So other than potions, it's the only non-food buff you can get. But I don't really know many people that use it.
I use it
Tinfoil
actually. I
preserve.
use it on my ranger to get that
Yeah.
slight increase in precision, so that I could get my 80% precision.
How do you get precision?
It's sharpens it?
It basically no. It's the huntsman potion, and what it does is it takes your toughness and your vitality, and a percentage of that goes into your precision. And I need like 2 points in precision, like more to hit a constant 80%. So when I drink that, I get my 2 points, 3 points. It puts me just up over 80%, and so I have my perma precision. Where with Fury, I have 100% crit rate.
I didn't know that there was one of them.
I researched this on my hunter ranger because my entire point on my ranger is to get 100% critical at all times.
Oh, you've got that?
Yes, it takes a lot of work, and I had to use potions and food, and then I had to trait precision as well.
So my
and
Mesmer
Fury.
has 63% with full precision gear and 20 points in precision.
Yeah.
Just looking
And for those
that.
of you that are watching that aren't familiar with critical is basically just it doubles damage and causes certain effects to go off at a random chance. Like my character bleeds on criticals, so that's one reason why I built it. It's a combination of condition damage build / critting all the time, and it's fantastic. It's wonderful. So that'll be interesting to see how those affect and whether or not that's going to be an actual viable part of the market, or if they're still going to be selling those for at a loss on the actual trading post.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to skip over the WVW part, and we're going to go straight to what Colin Johansson talked about as far as permanent content goes. There were a few questions out after the Lost Shores was before. This is the last South Sun content. They were like, okay, so you're leaving the Karka event in. That's cool. Are you going to be continuing to add permanent content in, or how is this going to work? And so what did Colin Johansson have to say about that?
Permanent content's going to be a thing I guess from now on is permanent, but starting with the next living story that comes out, we will be seeing permanent content with each update. It's not going to completely disappear like Flame and Frost.
Nice. So, what sorts of content are we going to be looking at? For example, Dragon Bash. What's our permanent content that we're getting?
MOA racing.
Cool.
We haven't really checked it out because we've been out all day, but from my understanding, you drop 50 silver on a MOA and each one has 20% chance to win, and it's completely random, although people are thinking about there's patterns. I don't know. It's not something that really interests me, so I haven't really been paying close attention.
I believe they took it
bugged.
offline because it's broke. And so once you figure out the pattern, apparently you couldn't lose, and so they went through, or else it was no one was ever winning, and so they went through and have tweaked it significantly, or they're going to be.
It's just betting. You don't actually race.
Just betting.
No.
You're not running the MOA.
Although they have, Colin Johansson did say in an interview, you may be able to in the future. Interview? No, it was a forum post. Sorry.
So another RNG method.
Currently, yes, it's RNG attempt to. It's kind of meh. But if it does lead to actual MOA racing, where you're actually, like with Roller Beetle Racing in Guild Wars 1, that could be fantastic.
I just assumed that's like ages ago when they said MOA racing. I just assumed actually MOA racing, not.
Yeah,
put some money on a number and hope that you roll the dice.
Yeah,
There's
it's
sort of
kind of it's
roll
it's
it
very
on it.
similar to the shooting the cows at harpies and try and guess with the
To
50
give a better
silver.
chance, the cows, I
Shooting
think,
the
because it's 1
cows
in
at
3 as
harpies?
opposed to 1 in
Yeah,
5.
that's a
What's
good
that
point. In
The
Diasa Plateau, I do
Mhm.
believe.
So there's the event with the catapult, and you defend his test subjects from the harpies, and then once you do that, you can either launch yourself out to get the vista, or there's a subsequent event where he'll allow you to put, I think it's 50 silver
It's
again,
50 silver.
on a cow and say where it's going to land when he launches it, and you have up to 5 chances, I think. If you win, you get a gold from it, so you can double your money, but it's...
But you never double your money.
I did once. It was a thing.
Once
It
out of
happened
how many times did you try?
twice. I got my money back and I left.
That's actually a good plan. I burned like a goal and a half and got nothing. C'est la vie. That's why you shouldn't gamble, kids. Ever. Even if Guild Wars 2 says it's okay. It's not. So, moving right along, what do you guys think that means for future content updates? How do we think that's going to roll out as far as permanent content goes?
They have said recently they wanted to get more stuff in the cities, so I think if we see especially racially themed stuff, like Flame and Frost is mostly Char and Norn, if we see stuff like that again in the future, I think their cities will get an overhaul. And then, where the living story is, we'll kind of see an overhaul before other stuff does. I guess that's just how they'll prioritize it. It was where the content is what they'll do.
I approve of them adding content to the cities.
Yep.
Especially if it's not just Lion's Arch. That would be fantastic. So, with content that they are adding to the cities, obviously the MOA race is in the is a part of the Dragon Bash event right now, and so the Dragon Bash is live. Have you guys managed to play much of it?
We've been in Lion's Arch, and currently I'm in game, but not doing Dragon Bash, so I don't get distracted.
It's good because you do get distracted.
But instead, I'm realizing that Dragon Coffers seem to have a really high drop rate, so I'm thinking that the drop rate of weapons from Dragon Coffers is stupid low.
Apparently, it's actually equivalent to all of the previous drop rates. So
it's stupid low.
It's stupid low, but because you have way more coffers, you have more chances.
Right.
Yeah.
And apparently, you're guaranteed So, what are the coffers, anyways? What do you get out of them? What are these things that they've added? This is the new lockbox, essentially.
Well, I've opened one, and I got a piece of food, which is a slice of candied dragon roll. 66% chance to steal life on crit. So it's basically like a Omnumberry Ghost, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
It just doesn't last as long because it's only 20 minutes.
Now, I believe you could turn some of those in for large pieces of candy that, maybe not the food, but there's certain things that are going to drop that you can turn in for candy, and that candy then will be able to be turned in for gigantic wings. Should be pretty awesome.
Sweet.
Of course, it takes 100,000 pieces of the candy.
Is that the Zytaffy?
Yes, the Zytaffy.
Okay. So that's what's guaranteed from each one, it seems. The number you get, though, varies.
Yeah.
So I have 8 of those now from 3 coffers. And I also have a Krika chocolate bar, which is the same as one of the, sharpening stones type deal, except it's different stats, plus 5% karma as well.
Your lunch bags were crystal.
Yes, with chocolate.
Yeah.
For the old Relics fans who don't watch anymore.
I'm still here.
Yeah, we're now on the show.
Oops.
Yeah, you guys stopped watching and you started making.
Yep.
So there's some cool stuff, some cool rewards. First of all, there's those wings, which are holographic wings that you can get for 100,000 candy, or they can drop out of the boxes.
Is it
I believe.
actually 100,000, or are you just making that up?
It's 100,000. So it takes 100 pieces of So it takes 100 pieces of Zytaffy to create one piece of candy. Then it takes that upper level candy. It takes 100 of those to get your back piece. So conceivably, it'd be 100,000 pieces of Zytaffy. There are many other ways to get the upper level piece, I do believe. I believe it can actually drop out of the chests and that sort of thing. So there are other ways to get the wings than just that. Also playing Dragon Ball.
Are these the... Because remember I said there was two types. There was like the normal ones and then there's the shattered ones. I was under the impression that the dragon wings came from doing the meta event. Is that
the
wrong?
Shattered ones are the meta event ones.
Okay.
So I believe it's 10 achievements you have to get, and you will get the meta achievement, and that will give you the Shattered wings. The other ones, the holographic dragon wings, which are different, are you can get them. They can drop from playing in the Dragon Arena.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball. It used to be called Dragon Arena 250 years ago. Now it's called Dragon Ball.
Okay.
They left off like Zed or something. I don't know. I think it's supposed to be Dragon Ball Z from Canada or something. No? Maybe? I don't know. Meta reference over 9,000, whatever. So anyways, then you also have the chance with the 100,000 pieces of candy for the wings, and there's a few other things that you can do. For example, that's pretty much the ways to get it. I think it could drop out of the rare coffers as well, but don't quote me on that. Like the fancy coffers.
From the gem store?
From the gem store, but not sure. So, let's see here. What other things? There's pinatas all over the place. Has anyone seen pinatas? Apparently you beat pinatas around, and they're in all the cities. You beat them and you get Zytaffy that drops out of them. And so that's probably going to be the best farm route for getting your 100,000 Zytaffy. I would not be surprised if it drops like 10 pieces of Zytaffy. You just do that 1,000 times. Actually, it's 10,000 times because you're going for 100,000. You're good.
Right.
So, one mindless night of beating pinatas in Divinity's Reach, and you got it.
Well, you can check all the main cities, can't you? I think you would just...
Yeah, but why would you go anywhere else? It's Divinity's Reach. It's beautiful.
That's true.
You run around in a circle and then you're done.
I guess, well, no. By the end of the week, it'll be optimized. Radasu Mobu, you can take the portal, and it's the quickest route, and everybody...
And if you have Blink, then you shortcut up the ramp here, and then you use the portal.
Everyone's like, you have to run this on a thief because of number 5 short bow.
Yep.
Plus the Signet. And Shadow Step.
Yep. So there we go. So other than that, they also have the Jade Weapon skins, which you guys were previewing previously. What do they look like? Are they awesome?
They look like awesome, on the most part.
They're Asian dragon themed, not Western, I guess. Most of the dragons we see in Guild Wars are Western, so that's kind of a different thing.
Well, it is an evolution of the Dragon Festival from Guild Wars 1. And an interesting thing in the lore is that according to the lore of this is not just an evolution of the Dragon Festival from Guild Wars 1, where we are now deciding to bash dragons rather than help them. There is a general assumption in Tyria, whether or not this is true, that even the Canthan dragons are evil. And part of the... now, that's a general assumption. We just assume that the dragons have revealed themselves as evil. So it's possible that our good friend Gunavang is in fact evil.
She's not.
I don't know. Maybe
she's not. She can't be. My heart would be broken.
Well, Glint was evil.
My heart was broken with
in quotes.
Kind of.
I mean, I think Gunavang is more Glint style than that.
I found a hologram projector in Mount Maelstrom.
Yes, these are a thing.
Oh.
What do they do?
So what happens is, do you remember the doors in Halloween?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in Halloween, those doors would open up and they let a bunch of things out. What you do is you run up to these hologram projectors, activate them, and they spawn a whole bunch of little holographic minions. You beat the snot out of the minions, and you have about a guaranteed, I think you'll get about 2 to 3 coffers per hologram from those minions, from looting the minions. The minions have a ridiculous coffer drop rate. Like,
I see only one on the map.
So what you do is you go ahead and run to it, and it's in all of the areas that are leading up to Lion's Arch. Although Mount Maelstrom, seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm running up to one now.
Wow. They just adding it everywhere then. That's interesting.
If the Keeper of the Waves leaves me alone. Alright. Please continue, because this is riveting for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's watch Christian play Guild Wars 2.
Have they talked about one of my...
No. Actually, I have no idea. Go ahead and finish the question.
Where does the jade come from?
Well, we've been traveling to the Fractals and beating up the Jade Maw a lot. I'm assuming that some people are bringing the Jade back with them and being like, look at what we found.
I'll accept that answer.
And then there are Canthan craftsmen.
Yeah, who are like, I haven't... My great-great-great-great-great-great-grandpappy told me about Jade and how to cut it. And we've been, like, excited to cut this for years, and so they're beginning to figure it out.
Longer than you've been pooping in your nappies.
Yep.
Apparently.
Well, you know, you get a good
way.
Norn. Norn live what, like 120 years or something? They don't die natural deaths, but you get a good Norn craftsman that's like 80, and every single one of and they apparently have kids all the way up into their 80s. So, you know, it could be like 4 generations back.
That means they're doing it all the way up to their 80s.
They're Norn. That actually, is that really all that surprising?
So I got 1 Dragon Coffer and 4 Zytappy. You lied to me.
Well, it's a higher probability chance. I'm not saying that it's like... People have been saying that they've been averaging 2 out of each.
I think there were 5 minions. Right click. Oh yeah, that's right. I had a big woohoo moment this morning when we read through the patch notes.
Oh, that's right.
And now I need to activate it. There's an option to switch off right click to attack or interact. Yeah, effing who.
So, for those who may not be familiar with the fact that we've always hated the whole right click thing, what exactly was our issue with right click?
Well, so not everyone hates it, but a lot of people steer predominantly with right click as opposed to arrows or left to turn the camera, and then I'm not sure what they do. So if you auto run and use right click, you steer your character, and that's the least amount of effort to move your character. However, if you then let go and your mouse appears on an enemy or an interactable object, it will select that because you can either left click or right click to select something. So a lot of times people would accidentally select something else, and because targeting is a bit finicky in Guild Wars, it would become very frustrating because then getting your target back is annoying because tab targeting isn't the best because it has to be in your field of view, and left click targeting on something is a pain when it's obscured by numbers and 5 teammates.
It's true.
4 teammates, and there's 6 enemies.
This is going to make our lives a lot easier.
Hopefully. There will be less accidental target loss.
Yeah.
For those who use it.
I'm not going to complain about that.
It's one of our longest standing gripes with the game, isn't it?
In Beta, I think people would have been asking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, Cole, Ryan's been talking about it since beta.
Well, we were too.
Yep.
Oh, let's see. Sorry, excuse me. I really need to mute before I go coughing all over the place. I've got the black lung paw.
Yeah, so the Jade skins look pretty cool. Hopefully they're not too difficult to acquire. But
yeah.
I'd be interested to see if you can just buy them straight up and how expensive they might be.
The Winter's Day skins, I want to say, were 400 per.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, when you consider what you might spend opening, 50 to 100 Winter's Day boxes, it's probably cheaper in the long run.
That's like a precursor I just bought.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Which 400 gems?
Gold. That's what I meant to buy on the auction house.
Oh, yeah.
400 gems is cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are those dragon skins, are they actually, let's find out. They are soulbound on you, so you can sell them.
Ah, sweet.
So
really?
What are they called?
Yep.
Where did you put the
they're Dragon's Jade. Or just, it should be Dragon's Jade, and then, like, Great Sword, Dragon's Jade, Wall is the shield, Dragon's Jade, Sword, probably, or something. So you just search Dragon's Jade.
Yeah.
While you're searching that, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Dragon Ball.
Okay.
So, have you guys played it at all?
Nope. We've been busy.
Alright, well then I will regale people with tales of what Dragon Ball is. And by that, I mean I watched some people play on videos and have figured it out. It looks actually pretty fantastic, and you should definitely check it out. It has a chance to drop those holographic wings. There's also a chance for weapon skins to drop, I do believe, from it, as well as the holographic mini pet, which is the, like, jester or whatever. There's 4 mini pets, holographic mini pets, and I'll talk about those in a little bit. But the cool thing about Dragon Ball is I think it's 3v3. It's kill your opponents and basically get points for killing your opponents, and whoever kills the opponents the most wins, obviously. There was a bug which they had to take down the Dragon Ball for a while because you could bring in health regen food, and there's no healing skills in Dragon Ball. So people were regenning health, and if they went and hid for a while, they'd be back at full health, and so it was no fun to play if you didn't have health regen food. So they've disabled that in Dragon Ball, so it should be fair for everyone. One of the interesting things is they added some jump pads, which sounds awesome. Basically what they are is, I've actually seen some videos of it, is you run onto it and it shoots you up into the air. And then you land.
Sounds like what a jump pad would do.
Right, and there's also acceleration pads, which will shoot you across gaps. I'm
No.
really looking
Aerial faith plates?
Yes, essentially. I'm really looking forward to seeing if this actually works well in Dragon Arena, to see them start adding this into jumping puzzles and possibly even World versus World and that sort of thing. Imagine if like there was a system where you could like cross World versus World maps with acceleration pads flying through the air.
Super Adventure Box.
That'd be fun. Oh yeah, or Super Adventure Box could kind of take full advantage of that. So I'm a fan. Excuse me. So those are some of the cool things. Interesting thing is they turned off fall damage in Dragon Ball, so you don't have to worry about dropping down from the top to the bottom. There's no fall damage. The only way you can take damage is if someone shoots you with their various skills. And what you do is you run around, and there's all these little glowing Dragon Balls around. And you start with your basic attack, which is just you throw a Dragon Ball at someone. But as you pick up more Dragon Balls, it will progressively unlock more and more skills, where you can do things like fire 2 Dragon Balls straight ahead of you, and it's like these lasers, like, you know how you do those aerial fighting games, or the aerial games where you're a plane on a 2D plane and you're moving back and forth and shooting stuff? Like Galaga and that sort of genre of game.
Yep.
That's what that reminded me of, because it looks like you're just getting more and more varied abilities for how you can shoot these balls of fire at people. So it sounds pretty exciting, actually. And so I'm looking forward to trying it out as sort of a low-key PvP thing. You can't join with friends, as far as I could tell, so there's no way to actually, you know... It would be nice if they eventually add structure to these things, to where it's like, here's a group version and here's a free-for-all version.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we'll probably see those in the coming years, because it just makes sense.
Yep.
And I don't think they had enough time to necessarily design a 2-bracket system for it. Or they just were like, well, we could do that, or we could focus on, you know, creating art assets. So
I kind of hope they do that. Or I think most mini games that they introduced with holidays, it's been kind of sorely missing, where we would like to go in with our friends but can't necessarily do it. So if they did invest the resources into making a 2-bracket system, then it would be good, because it would be applicable across holidays.
Please excuse Shongaku.
I muted that.
No, you didn't?
You didn't.
No, I muted it on the audio stream.
Excellent.
You guys could hear it. I wanted you to know what was going on as I was like walking away.
Dying off screen.
Has the black lung.
Yeah.
Yes. Hunter's Insight is in the house.
Hey yo.
Woot woot. I don't know what I just...
That was an appropriate
Hunter can make
response.
fun of me.
It's Hunter. We love Hunter.
We do.
Okay, another awesome thing. They're adding another musical instrument.
Yes, I was excited about this. I saw the
And
patch for it.
Gem store. So you just buy it straight up.
What?
It's not a
now,
random
or is it
chance.
being added soon.
It's added soon.
Oh, okay.
It might actually be available now. I would find out, but then I would minimize you guys, and so you can check on the gem store. It's called the Mariner's Horn. So I'm assuming it's going to use like trumpety sounds or bugle sounds.
Cool.
So we now have a bell and we have a horn. So by this time next year, I'm hoping that we have like a full like instrument section, and people will be releasing like full orchestral.
Yeah, well now we've got
Go ahead.
A horn, a bell, and a piano or an organ.
That's true. The organs are a little bit iffy because they're not reliable right now.
Oh, they're not?
You can't just play them. Like, there's time limits and stuff. Although I guess there's time limits on the bell as well. It's like a 5-minute time limit on the bell.
Yeah, you have to refresh it.
And I think it's like a minute on the organ.
An organ that you just pull out, or do you mean one out in the world? Because
it's the ones out in the world. You have to go find them. So the one in Divinity in Ebonhawk and the Quaggan organ.
Yep.
So, and yes, that's true. You couldn't play it. Hunter mentioned that the Ebonhawk one was bugged. I believe it's back up and running again, although I'm not sure. The main problem with it is I created a macro for the bell that would allow me to play various music because I'm not able to do... Because the problem is with the bell, there's an input lag, so if you want properly timed music and you're just typing in, you have to be about 3 seconds ahead of what note the bell is playing, and I cannot do that. You have to be much better at that sort of thing than I am. So I created a macro for it. The organ is not timed the same as the bell. So I tried to create a macro for the organ, and the organ plays at about a 1/4 to an 1/8 the speed that the bell plays. So you can't play the same sort of music with the organ. You have to do very slow, ponderous. There's no quick movements. You can't go... You just have blah, 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 which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully they will eventually allow you to put down an organ, and I'm just imagining like the Max Rebo band from Return of the Jedi just chilling somewhere and just going to town. Although that was actually a Biff band that played that song. Nerd. Anyways, so super excited. One of the biggest attractions in Lord of the Rings Online actually is the what do they call it? Weather stalk, which they all go to the in the movies there was that tower where the whatchamacallits, the Ringwraiths attacked Frodo and stabbed him. Weathertop.
Yeah,
well,
Weathertop.
On one of the RP servers in Lord of the Rings Online, they have Weather Stalk, where everyone goes up to the top of Weathertop, and then they have in-game bands that play covers of just whatever, because you can play any song you want in the game. And,
sounds glorious.
Yeah, and so they'll have bands that play, and the server just gets crowded on that. And it's laggy, but you can hear the music, you can wander around, there's various bands that they place all over the zone so that you can play. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to some of the... There's an area in Divinity's Reach where there's like a big like audience area.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect place for like musical like bands to play. So I'm looking forward to eventually seeing like on Tarnished Coast just bands, and you go there and there's like a live band playing, and they'd play for like an hour or something. I mean, you macro the thing and it's fine. That's when macros are good in Goobers too.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I've bored Christian,
no,
there's free minis in the game. Tell us about those.
Free minis?
Did you guys get your free minis?
I haven't been able to check because he's hogging my computer and I'm recording a podcast.
Because you purchased gems through the gem store or via Gilwas 2 gem card, between the launch and now, you get a free mini pack. Alright, what did I get? 3 mini holographic.
He got a Ice Brood Wolf, a Branded Minotaur, and an Axe-wielding Destroyer.
Which is what's on the gem store right now. So if you go on the gem store to buy the mini pack that is specifically for this event, that is what you get out of that mini pack. So they gave you that for free, which is awesome because you bought gems at some point. One of the interesting things is if you combine that with the mini pet that comes out of the coffers, you will get you combine all 4 of them in the Mystic Forge, you'll get another super rare mini. And then what you can do if you really want a full miniature collection, you can then buy the miniature pack again. And
what's the super rare one?
It is a miniature Colossus, which I think it's a holographic Colossus. So I'm assuming...
Can we just talk about what size a miniature Colossus is? Because to me, a miniature Colossus is like the size of your character, and he follows you around. Colossus is this big. This big. So big. off the screen big.
Yeah, and as Hunter pointed out, it is anyone who bought gems at all, not just like a
Yeah.
gem card. It's if you have gems that you purchased with money, they have your credit card, you get those minis. So yeah, miniature Colossus, that sounds awesome. Hopefully he bows to people. Like maybe if you bow, he'll bow. That would be
Are
epic.
we asking too much?
I want
I
one.
think so, but that would be amazing.
It is super rare.
Well, it's super rare, except for the fact that we already got the mini pets.
Right.
So
Well, 3 of them. We
You
just
have
need the
3.
4th one,
You
which
need the
is pretty
4th one.
rare, and then we have to decide to put it in
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
right. Now the thing
Makes
is,
sense.
if you get 2 of the yeah. So my goal is to get all 5 mini pets this time. Now that they gave me some, I'm gonna buy the pack again. Thank you, ArenaNet, and I'm gonna pick up some. Try and get all 5 minis.
I'll have to see the Colossus, but I might go for it, especially if he bows or he's giant. I hope he's giant.
So I think that there's a lot of really good content in this. I do note that some people have noted that it is a lot of single player content, and that there is an issue where people are taking over corners of maps, like Dragon Season took over an entire corner of a map to they took over an entire corner of the map and said, "This is our corner. You cannot do anything. No one else can come here because we need to kill these holographic projectors." And a lot of different guilds are doing this. They're like, but
how can they stop you? They can just flame at you,
can't.
and then, hello,
Well,
it's a multiplayer game.
it's like Honor. They're like, we're in this corner of the map. Just don't. If you're a big guild or a big Zerg, don't come to this corner. If you're one person, that's cool. But the issue was, that's true. I think Dragon Season was mostly kidding. Hunter's right.
Is it
They are a rather rambunctious bunch.
an issue? Is it an issue of kill stealing? Is it?
The issue is if you the issue is they die too fast and you can't get to them. Like
I
moving
see.
from one to the next. So if you have an area and you have a pattern that you're moving around in, it works really well for the farm. But what happens is if you get someone else that's like trying to like just hitting whatever they see, they'll come in, they'll clear one, and then you'll and then all of a sudden your pattern will be interrupted.
That's just like any farming.
Yeah,
really.
it's not really any different than the. What did we have? The Super Adventure boxes and the Winter's Day gifts.
That's true. Although we found
Although
an
they might have been a
amazing
bit
farm for the
durable.
Winter's Day gifts. It was
We did.
fantastic with all the evil devil princesses of doom.
Suddenly 8 stacks of confusion. GG.
Oh, it was so scary. We'll have to stream that next year and show you guys our farming route, and you can come farm with us. Maybe we'll do some some streaming actually of farming the dragon boxes, and you guys can come. You people watching. Let's see. Wow, you could kill about 4 mobs in 5 seconds for the box for the holographic thing. So you can kill them really fast because if you go to a lobby area, and so that's the issue, is you kill them so fast that no one else can get to them.
So if you're having a problem, go to a low population server.
Why didn't they make them vets? Weren't they all vets in the past?
No, I don't
They
think
said
they
that-
were just really.
No, they were
high
just
health.
tough. Yeah.
Well, and also they had scaling rewards, on the other times. Like for example,
This time it's all specific. Like
the-
all the drops you get from dragon drops. As
right.
opposed to other drops.
So there's that. So you're not. It's not like you have a chance at getting food or something or that sort of thing. Oh, and Hunter did note that yes, there were vets during the. Usually it was like you killed a few of the guys coming through the Halloween door, and then a vet would spawn and you'd finish it off.
Or if you didn't kill them quick enough, they would become vets and have double their health. and
Yeah.
stuff.
So there's all sorts
Didn't
of things.
the frogs from Super Adventure Box level up?
Yeah. That's
Really?
what I'm thinking of, I think.
Yeah.
The sad one, not the other one.
If you didn't kill them fast enough, they'd start leveling up, and then
Yeah.
they'd be way above you, and they would just raffle stomp you into the ground.
Nice. That's hardcore. I approve. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. One of the interesting things is they have not revealed a lot of what's coming. A lot of the interviews that happened about this event is, well, we played all this content, but by the way, like half of it they've kept under wrap and are NDAing. So there's a lot more to come. Some of the they have revealed, I think, most of the achievements, and it does sound like we might be attracting the attention of some unsavory folk. And by folk, I mean giant dragons that are angry that we're not spearing them.
They're angry that they're not being speared, or angry that we're spearing their holographic kinfolk.
Essentially. So we'll probably see some dragons show up, I suspect, by the end of this.
Cool.
Or we might see Kunavang, who will show up and be like, dude, why you bashing on dragons, yo?
Why would she pick this year?
Because we started bashing dragons this year, and she shows up and is like,
this
no.
year? It seems like it's an entrenched...
No, it's a relatively new thing, is what I gathered from the lore.
And it's an amazing
Hunter's
way
backing
to
me up
start.
in chat. No, this is a new thing. This is a brand new thing. This has not been established before.
Is this the first time it's happened?
This is the first time it's happened. First of all, it coincides...
at making new events.
Well,
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, suddenly amazing...
It's been in the work for over... Yeah, it's been in the works for at least 3 weeks in terms of our time, but in game time it's been longer. Plus,
right,
the technology, especially for the holograms, is there. You see it in the hearts and Asura zones. So
no, I'm just saying, to organize the event and suddenly get everyone behind it in game in terms of lore, to do that the first time, like you'd think maybe the second or third time, then it starts picking up. Then fireworks get started.
Maybe like the Vigil did something like a little in their place, and now the thing is, think about what's happened in the game though, story wise, since we started playing.
Yep.
We've not.
This is the Zaitan killing celebration.
Essentially, although technically lore wise, it's like still during the build up of the Vigil and Priory, but I think it's post Claw Island. Island.
Or Island.
So I think it's still during the invasion of Ore period. They haven't really established a hard timeline for it, but it is definitely during the period of time where Tyria is finally saying, "Hey, we can take these guys. We got this." Which we now know means that Tyria is going to burn, because I just said we got this.
We're not thieves.
Well, that's true. Not all of us. So Spirit's going to go down in a few seconds, because she's a thief.
Oh, she fell over.
I need reviving.
Wait for it. Yay! Did you level up, or did you complete your daily reviver there, Christian?
I got nothing for that, except 300 XP.
Oh, I see.
Nice. Good work. So, interesting things that have happened, actually. Ah, my phone!
That's interesting.
I know. So, interesting things that have happened with recently on Tarnished Coast. I believe Chris Whiteside. I know that his in-name game is Snow Crash.
In-game?
Yeah,
his in-game dev name is Snow Crash.
That's the name I've heard tossed around as Chris Whiteside. I don't think it's 100% confirmed, but that's what people have been saying.
So a dev showed up on Tarnished Coast. What happened?
He started answering questions, just in Lion's Arch, about anything and everything, and some people put it on Reddit. So there was a few notable questions, but in my opinion, the most impressive thing about the whole encounter is the fact that he says he's coming back every Sunday to a different city on Tarnished Coast, which means they want to listen to the community more than they have in the past, and they want more interaction with the community, which is absolutely good. I'm just gonna start
calling him Gale Gray and hope that a frog shows up. Not gonna
lie. The questions they talked or that were posted on Reddit, because I wasn't there myself, obviously, to see what was there, are mostly nothing new or nothing concrete. So like one of the things they talked about is, will we ever be able to go to Cantha? They said Cantha is definitely not cut from the game. They never said it was. It was purely speculation that we thought it wasn't cut from the game. But they didn't give us a timeline for it or anything. Will we be getting more dungeons? Yeah, we'll be continuing to work on our dungeons. Well, what does that mean? Revamps, new dungeons, both. It's not concrete answers, but it is.
I'd like to actually hit on the Cantha thing.
Sure.
Was Cantha removed from the game? Or cut from the game?
Was it at any point, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a weird question. I mean, you can answer that anyway. Like, sure. I mean, the question was...
The question was, will we ever be able to go to Cantha?
And he said it hasn't been cut from the game, which I think is an interesting answer. Like, apparently, we've heard that they have a 5-year plan for the game, right?
Yeah.
This is something that they've said several times.
Yep.
So apparently, since he said it's not been cut, that means that it is within that. This is me reading into things. I didn't make a tinfoil hat this week. I'm so sorry.
We didn't.
I still haven't. That's okay.
I'm gonna put my
I don't have any
hulls on the
tinfoil
hat.
in here. Don't look for it.
One of these days, I will make one.
Not my kitchen.
Shungaku, so you were gonna say that because it's not cut, that means it's within the 5-year
Yes,
period?
that's
Whereas
my
I'm
theory.
gonna say it's not been cut, which means that after 5 years we'll get the expansion to go to Ken.
I'm fine with that. If within 5 years I end up in Cantha, I will be content.
Out.
I seriously.
I want Cantha ASAP.
It's definitely not going to be the first expansion pack.
This is so wonderful. Okay. Here's what we do. We crash land a holographic dragon into the Tengu, create an international incident. The Tengu bridge us back into Cantha. Boom, Cantha expansion.
Why would the Tengu want to go back? They're like, they hate us over there. They tried to kill us.
Oh no.
I mean, I'm expecting Tengu before we get the Cantha expansion.
Aren't they? There's nothing else really from Cantha linking to Guild, like to Tyria at the moment. There's a dragon in between us and Cantha, and
there's
no driving.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Cantha is not the biggest worry for Tyrians right now. There's the dragon in the deep sea, and we don't really need trade. We've established we could survive without Cantha. Simultaneously, we've brought Orb back, so now like the gods can come back if they feel like it, and they can make more half-human, half-god babies, like Dwayna likes to do. And I think Shatterer and Puala Joko are way bigger threats.
Jormag?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, you mean Kralkatoric when you say Shatterer, right? Because we kill the Shatterer daily.
Yes, that's true.
Many times daily.
Yes, I mean Kralkatoric, Kralky. Crystal Perp, yos. That's your name. That's your name, Christian. You named him for the rap group.
Oh.
Crystal Perp.
What?
You know, Big Z, Crystal Perp.
I didn't call him Crystal Perp. I don't use the word perp.
You did when we were making a rap group.
Wow,
you must have been
back then.
That's because we were playing Saints Row at the time.
Ah, there you go. So I'm kind of excited. There was another bomb that he dropped that may or may not be a huge bomb. What was it?
Guild Wars 2's answer to raids is coming.
Bum, bum, bum!
So guild missions weren't the answer.
No, they were guild content.
Which is for large groups and coordination.
It's not the same.
I don't know. Yeah, I know it's not the same.
We've had this argument in chat already, so
no, it's not the same because they're not going to put raids in Guild Wars 2. That's why it can't be the same.
How do you know they're not going to put raids in Guild Wars 2?
Because otherwise they're going back.
They also said we'd have account bound dies. I don't see any account bound dies. Do you?
They changed their mind to something we didn't want. It's not like they're going to change their mind to something we do want, except for right click.
People want raids. Just because it's not us asking for raids doesn't mean that people don't want it. Yeah, I feel that high-end PvE is lacking in Guild Wars and needs additions. I don't know if raids are the answer. They're probably not. Maybe they are.
When you guys say raids, what do you visualize?
WoW-style raids with like 10, 25 people, really hard bosses, grindy, gear grind. And I know it won't be WoW-style raids because that they don't want to be.
Hasn't Guild Wars 2 already done large group content?
Guild missions and World v World.
No, okay, sorry, let me rephrase that. Hasn't Guild Wars already done large group content?
12 groups.
12 men?
12 men.
Yeah, so Elite Dungeons is what you're getting at?
So why not those? Those were raid length. They were open areas. You could go and do them in whatever direction. Fisher of Woe. Bring it back.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with those coming back. I'd rather have Elite Dungeon type things. But when you say raids, you don't think of Elite Dungeons, you think of raids.
I immediately go to what ArenaNet has done before and what was some of the most played content in Guild Wars.
That's because
It's
it was
true.
the best rewarded content.
It
in Guild
was,
Wars.
but was it bad content?
Nope.
I
I
thought
liked
it
it.
was fantastic content.
They were my favorite. The Deep was awesome. We used to do it with Pig in half an hour.
Right. I mean, if you do
The-
that, holy smokes, what?
Yeah, Pig would do hard mode Deep in half an hour. It was lovely.
12-man Fisher of Woe. Imagine that. Like, okay, go and do this entire zone has like X places that you have to go and complete certain like massive events and kill a certain boss. But you can do it in whatever order you want. You unlock different areas and it slowly progresses out and there's that overarching like a mass dynamic, meta dynamic event chain that is just an entire zone for all 12 of you. And maybe sometimes you have to split up. And sometimes 4 people will go over here, and 4 people will go over here, and 4 people will go over somewhere else. And you have to do things simultaneously. You have to all fight your way up to something. And then while you're all in voice chat, because it's a raid, so you're assuming that this is an organized group, or, map chat if it's Pug, you all have to hit a button at the same time. So you have to all fight up there, hit a button, you're good to go.
That's the kind of thing I would like to see, but I can't help thinking of the large-scale bosses. And I would actually like them to apply maybe some of what they've learned to a large-scale boss. We haven't seen any... The dragons don't turn. They don't have any collision. You can just run amok underneath them and nothing happens. I would like to see a large boss like, I don't know, Ironforgeman sized that took some coordination to beat. Giganticus Lupicus. Well, he's large, but
imagine
he's
a zone where
pretty
Giganticus
standard.
Lupicus was like something that was just wandering around. Yeah.
Trash mobs.
Yeah, Giganticus Lupicus is the trash mob.
So there's that. I mean, Evee is who just popped up in chat was mentioning, Fisher. He was mentioning, let's see, Underworld, Isle of Janthier as a raid zone with us fighting Mersat. Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
The Fire Island chain, which is now unlocked because Big Z is muerto, which means dead.
Ring of Fire?
Ring of Fire, yes.
Stone and stuff? That
Yes.
seems really specific, though, to the storyline of Prophecies.
Yes. So there's all sorts of things that you could do. These are just ideas. What would you guys want to... With these sorts of concepts now that we've talked about, assuming that Guild Wars 2 is not going to do a traditional raid, what would you want to see, Spirit, as a raid concept for Guild Wars?
In terms of, so anything existing, invented,
Whatever you want. Just say, I would like to see this.
I would like to see a... Jeez. My original idea was a raid maybe on... Like, we just talked about Palawa Joko, taking that area back, and then after a while, but then it goes away. I don't want to get to temporary content. I want that to last, so maybe not. But I would like... Yeah, I don't know. That should be a story thing.
That should be an open world zone. That's why
Yeah.
Fisher of Woe works. I'd like to see Duena's Realm, to be honest. Imagine Duena's Realm.
Lyssa's.
Or Lyssa's.
Mm.
Or Heroes Ascent. And the
Is
Heart of
that-
the Mists.
Yeah, I
It's
suppose.
PvP, you mean?
Oh,
It eventually became PvE, if you recall.
yeah.
Yeah?
There was the PvE that you could access from the Tomb of Primeval Kings.
Oh, right, but that wasn't Heroes Ascent.
That's
yes.
right. It became
That was
something
just
else.
a three-level dungeon, basically.
Yeah. So. Sorry.
I suppose what I'm wondering is, if the answer to raiding is coming, what's the question? Is the question,
Is it
how are
necessarily
we going
the
to get
answer to
raids?
raiding?
Because they've answered that frequently. Or is the question, what is the content for large groups at high-end PvE? Or is it just, what is the content at high-end PvE?
I think the question is going to be, what is the content for large groups going in for PvE?
And see, immediately I say guild missions exist, and that's for large groups. I guess then the question is there going to be more content for large group high-end PvE?
I think it will be. Now, here's an interesting thing. World of Warcraft just announced flexible raiding, which means that you can bring anyone from 10 to 25 people, and the raid scales to your group. As far as difficulty, mechanics, that sort of thing. Similar to how Fractal scales by level, except in this case it's per number of people. It's like a dynamic events, except they're your raids now. I could see ArenaNet doing something like that. I've been saying that they'll probably do something like that since the game launched, and I'm gonna keep to that, and I'm gonna say Fissure of Woe, between 10 and 20 people.
I'm all for that.
And it will be awesome. And you'll go in. Now, here's the question. Do you want the original punitive measures back?
Punitive measures?
You'd say, like, if you screw up an event, you wipe and or start from the beginning?
Yeah, remember Fissure of Woe, what happened when you failed?
Yeah, or if you, in Underworld, if you screwed up an event.
Failure states.
Yeah.
If the NPC dies, you lose.
My answer to that would be you have a second chance by using a meta event. So say you push forward into a tower, you botch that event for whatever reason, so the stuff comes out. You get one more event. If you hold that event, you get, again, the chance to push in towards the tower. If you fail that second event, you're kicked.
I like that. I like that recovery. It's like the reviving function.
Do you need to be kicked, or does the event just reset?
No, I think it should. To be honest, if you think about it this way, high-end PvE that requires coordination, one of the things that adds difficulty is that level of danger of if you fail, you lose. And to be honest, was it really...
reset and kick is the same. You lose. You have to start from the beginning again.
Well, not
one
just
is outside of the instance, and one is in the instance.
Yeah, that's a good point. There was that whole one plat thing that eventually became like a non-issue.
Oh, to enter... Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
To enter the Underworld. Everyone had plat coming out their ears at the end, though.
Well, yeah, it was a non-issue.
It'd be like charging the gold to get in.
Yeah, I would want it to be decently accessible. When we had our big discussion about what high-end large group PvE meant, one of the things I thought of originally was making raids a type of guild mission, but I wouldn't want that. I don't want influence gating.
They already
want anybody to be able
guild
to do
puzzles.
it. Guild puzzles are just jumping puzzles.
Yeah, but they're instance jumping puzzles, aren't they?
No.
Really? Can anyone go do them?
Pretty sure.
Are they always
I know
open?
where they are on the map. They're open when a guild opens them, but once they're open, like a rush, I'm assuming anyone can participate.
Really?
That's my impression. They're not instanced, I can tell you that much.
Oh. I thought they were instanced. Cool!
I still kind of like to see some of the big group, large group coordinated PvE content happen in the world.
Yes. Oh, I'm not saying that raids would replace that.
No, but like temples and stuff, when we first saw them and heard about them, and then being in awe and capable, and it sounded like you need multiple group coordination across the map to cap temples. So like in Lissa, we have to capture 3 points and then hold them in order to be able to fight Lissa. And then in theory it sounded good, and in practice it gets close. But then there's always the challenge of having it challenging, so it's difficult for the best groups to do, and yet still accessible enough for low population servers to actually be able to complete them.
Well, right. Basically what it means is that eventually you're going to find a server to where you're going to face roll it. You're going to just face roll it. I'm not sure that there's any way to avoid that in open world content, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because when you get 100 heroes together, that should be a significant group of heroes, just... We've got all the weapons.
Hard.
Yeah.
With 100 Chazukas.
Right. I mean, that's just not... That shouldn't be difficult. Now, maybe if it's a group of 15 or 20, that is going to be difficult, because you need you need like 2 or 3 people to hold each point, and then the rest have to go to the center.
Yeah.
And it is difficult on Lissa with that.
So maybe you like, yeah, you take those kinds of styles, put them in an instance, and cap the size at 15.
The thing that I don't like about the Lissa event is how quickly it resets. So any gain that you make doesn't feel like you're actually accomplishing anything. So there's not a lot of reason for a group of
What do you mean
20
by
to put in the
reset?
effort.
Complete reset or during the event? Like
Complete reset. Like the complete reset for the Lissa event is ridiculously fast.
Well, I thought there were 2 hours. The temples were all 2 hours, and then there's a defense event, which
no one ever does.
But for the most part, it's doable with like 3 people.
Except the boss shows up, don't they? And then champions come swarming in.
No. On Lissa, it's really easy. You can do it with 2 people. It's just veterans.
Yeah.
Dwayner is more difficult because it's a champion risen crate, and he walks up the steps progressively faster, has a lot of health, and does a lot of damage. I haven't seen Balthazar because no one stays in straights after it's been capped.
Mm-hmm.
And Melandru, don't know either. Or Grinth. I've only seen Dwayner and Lissa because they're of interest because defending them means that you can still farm sparks for charged lodestones.
I have a thing.
Yes.
I remembered reading this morning that as part of the reward overhaul later this summer, they're going to be adding more ways to get lodestones.
Yes! Woohoo!
Yeah.
Because I'm getting close.
Shouldn't have bought them.
I'm super excited about that. My alphabet soup scepter is going to be a lot easier to get. My Maraca of space time.
Everyone's going to have sunrise.
No, but that's going to make Mjolnir much easier to get.
Oh, Mew Mew! That's right, I need to get Mew Mew for one of my characters.
What?
That's what you call Mjolnir.
Oh. No,
Mew Mew.
I don't.
Have you guys watched Thor?
Yes.
I saw it once.
That's what she calls it. She's like, Mew Mew.
Oh.
She calls Mjolnir like one of the chicks in the movie.
I've seen
not
so many movies lately, they all just blend together for me.
I'm disappointed.
We've watched... That was last year.
Yeah. That was a year ago.
Oh. I can't believe it's been a year since a year ago.
Did you know last year was a year ago?
Yeah.
Hey, it's
so I hear.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So... I'm super excited about what they might be doing with the Maraca of Clouds. That's a good one, Verda. Actually, Evee. I agree. That is what the Meteorologicus is. It is the Maraca of Clouds in space.
I'm okay with that.
I am
first Maraca of Clouds.
I hear that actually what they're going to do is, you know how there was that snowman puzzle, jumping puzzle, inside of the snow globe that for what's his face.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Meteorologicus is going to eventually do. Instead of giving you footsteps, it's just going to give you a jumping puzzle, and you hold it up, it goes spinning, and then you get sucked into it, and you do a jumping puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lying through my teeth right now. That would be amazing, though.
Just likes to find jumping puzzles.
Everything. Literally everything.
Man, that would be like the best legendary ever. It is a legendary and a jumping puzzle. Oh my goodness. That would be amazing. I would be super excited. If they ever release a legendary that is also a jumping puzzle, I will have a heart attack and not be able to be on the show anymore.
So don't do that, ANet.
No, please. I want to have heart condition for the rest of my life.
You will get sued.
Oh, you have been warned. So I'm super excited about the things that are not only happening in game right now, but the things that ANet's doing with the community. So Guild Wars 2 is definitely growing, and I think it's going to be in a lot better place in even 6 months than it was probably 2 or 3 months ago with some of the people that were burning out. And hopefully by then they'll be coming back in, getting back into the game and saying, oh, I played for 9 months straight, that was enough. And then after a few months, they'll be able to come back. I know I had to take 2 months off, which is why I never completed Super Adventure Box, because I just couldn't play Guild Wars 2. I needed to go do other stuff.
Took a whole 2 months off?
I took 2 months off.
Wow.
I was also adapting to my new job, and so there was all of that. But
I feel bad for saying that I didn't really notice.
It's okay. You've been gone for like 5 months though, Christian, because of your job.
Yeah,
and
you have the
everything.
job
You've been
thing.
gone for
from
like
the
4
show,
months.
but not Guild Wars. I still play that.
Well,
Yeah, in the middle of the night.
Yeah, see, that's why you wouldn't have noticed, because I switched over to day
True.
shift. And
Yeah.
so you would... And normally when I log on, I'm like, Blurga Hargle, get on Mumble. And
Right.
you just kind of close your eyes and cry silently
Oh.
into the night.
Evie is telling me that the Festival of Liss is this Friday on Tarnished Coast in Divinity's Reach.
We're doing that.
Yeah, I'll go stream it.
I have all
Friday?
day
I might
on
have
Friday.
busy.
I will stream
Cool.
that sucker.
You stream
so
that. I might
will
join you
happen.
for part of it.
That sounds awesome.
For the ignorant fool in the corner, what is the Festival of Liss?
Forget you.
I'm asking because
So
I don't know.
It's sort of a
Anyone else
mesmer
knows?
festival. So it's Lissa, and so it's I believe it's actually from the
Player-driven.
lore.
Is that what we're saying? It's a player-driven activity.
It's
Yeah.
player driven. It's not an actual lore driven.
Yeah.
But I believe from the lore or from story driven, I believe it is. Here we go. I will click on this button and I will read it to you. The Festival of Lissa is in honor of the old Elonian festival that was held every year in Vabi, which we all remember because that's when the whatchamacallits? Morlocks. No. Wow. Morganites showed up and killed all of those Lissan people. It was during the Festival of Liss. Lissa was held every year in Vabi to honor Liss. Lissa is the goddess of illusion and beauty and also water, energy storage, duality, and some say chaos. The festival is to honor the first of the three while also providing some Elonian culture to be showcased as well. So that sounds awesome, actually. I'm super excited. You guys are just straight up leaving, so I guess the show's...
No. I think there's someone at the door.
Ah, okay, cool. So, there we go. So the events will have a kissing booth. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. That could be interesting. There's going to be food and drink, so they'll be giving out food and drink. Blessings of Lissa, an opening and closing ceremony where an in-character priest of Lissa would offer a prayer. There will be a mesmer show, a water show, and poetry contest. So it should be pretty entertaining. And it's going to be taking place on Tarnished Coast in the Elonan Quarter.
Of Divinity's Reach.
Of Divinity's Reach, yes.
Cool.
So that actually is pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to that. I like the in-game events. There have been some fantastic in-game events that are player-driven.
Yeah.
To clarify.
Guild Wars has been pretty good about that.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about that. And next year they'll have a whole band playing. There'll be live music. So I think that's pretty much everything that we've got on the docket for today. We've talked about, we've covered a ton of awesome topics from the Dragon Bash to the changes in the gem store, the upcoming music, the possibility for raids. Anything else you want to talk about, Christian?
I guess not.
All right. Well then, how long is Kate going to be?
I don't know. She's disappeared. She's been
All right.
kidnapped by her
Well,
siblings.
I'm going to call it and say that is episode 4 of season 3 of Relics of Ore. You can check us out on the Faceroll Network, which is a new initiative for Relics of Ore and just that community, and we're growing. It is going to be a multi-game, game agnostic, if you will, website, and it is up on facerollnetwork.com. And if you're interested in getting involved, writing about games, or you want to stream games and you don't really have a community that's going to help promote your stream, and we enjoy, and contact us, we'll check out your stream, and we'll talk to you about whether or not it's something that we want to get on there, and also blogging and that sort of thing. So we're super excited about it. Ryan's going to be leading the charge with that. He's going to be doing a lot of different game streaming, and we are also going to hopefully have an episode of League of Legends actually coming up here pretty quick. We are looking for a Mordekaiser, though. Throwing that out there. So, feel free to contact us. You can tweet at me at Shongaku or at Relics of War. Christian and Kate. Kate is at Damn Violas, and Christian is at Sea Squirrel. And
Sea Squirrel runs.
Sea Squirrel Run.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't have your Twitter in the lower third because your name is taken. So I'll just have to create like an aggregate name for you, like Katian or something, or Christate. I don't know. Something like that. So anyways, and then you can also email us at relicsofore@gmail.com, or you can email me directly at showku@gmail.com as well. So that is our show for this evening. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. If you didn't, well, that's part of it. Anyways, have a good evening.
Good night.